Brayden, are you ready for another exciting episode of Mentor Moments?
I am. We just want to take this time and just thank you guys for continuing to tune in and listen to Dr. Keener and I chat with some of our awesome guests. It's been a lot of fun, so just thanks again.
And as a reminder, Mentor Moments is a collaboration between Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Student Organization and the Missouri Rehabilitation Association Eastern Chapter.
Music, if you look at like a scan of the brain, music is lighting up so many areas compared to when you just look at speech.
You know, music helps prime the brain.
On this episode of Mentor Moments, we have two very special, cool guests with us. We have Maryville Music Therapy graduate students, Scott Duell and Amanda Wick.
Scott graduated from Nazareth College in Rochester, New York, with an undergrad degree in music theater. And Amanda Wick is a board-certified music therapist that works for Charlie Health.
Okay, so we're here with Amanda and Scott. Very happy to see you guys. I think a good place to start would just be tell us a little bit about yourselves. Scott, I guess we can start with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually got my start in, I got my undergraduate degree in theater. So my background is in music theater. I was a performing actor for about 10 years, did a lot of children's theater. And then, I sort of ended up falling into music therapy. So I'm here at Maryville. I'm my fourth semester of the Master's Equivalency Program. So still, I guess, 2 semesters to go, kind of question mark. I love music. I love helping people. It kind of like was a wonderful symbiosis of the two. And, still love my background in theater. I think it helped inform me and who I am and where I'm going. And I'm excited to be on this new trajectory. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I just see the smile on your face just talking about it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So Amanda, tell us about your career. How did you get started?
Okay, so I started off when I was doing music education and then found that didn't fulfill me in the right way. And so I did pursue music therapy and got my bachelor's in music therapy. And I've been serving as a music therapist for about 3.5 years in Illinois and Missouri, working predominantly in hospice care, but also transitioning over now working in the mental health field.
I think I forgot you started music ed because I started music ed.
Oh, yeah.
And I decided it wasn't for me either. Went to music theater, and now here we both are in music therapy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a career theory called planned happenstance that you can sort of plan so much and then just sort of happenstance, life happens, and right, it just sort of, we connect the dots somehow. So.
I also think it's really cool because it really seems like there's like a calling. Like you guys were doing something and then you felt a calling towards something else. I think that's really powerful. I think that also applies to, vocational job development, having that calling towards something. So in your fields of practice, what has been something in your guys' lives that something that has helped you in your job that we might not know about you two?
Okay. So I'll go. So I identify myself as an HSP, which if you've heard of that, it's a highly sensitive person. So very sensitive to sound and light and noise and things like that. So that was something I thought, well, it's odd to go into music therapy when I'm so sensitive to sound. Yet I've used it as a tool because when I work with someone who might be on the autism spectrum, or when I'm working with older adults, they might have some of these sensitivities as well. So maybe it's a superpower.
I love to reframe it like that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of that. It is a superpower.
Thank you.
Something people may not know about me is I really love to bake pies. That's like, it's another thing that sort of like fell into my lap. I was like, I want to do this. So I started doing it. And now I think at this point I have made like over 100 pies and I like people like are like, are you gonna make this? Are you gonna make this? But so relating that, it doesn't seem related, but relating it back to music therapy, I'm kind of a planner. I love to plan, and baking is you have to plan, you have to measure. And so doing all that prep work, I think really helps me to plan for what I'm going to do with clients and plan interventions. And I like planning. I like.
You know what's interesting though is as a music therapist, we also have to be adaptable. So maybe does that go into baking?
You know, I think it doesn't in the sense that like I have experimented with recipes.
Okay.
I have made up my own recipes. I've tried making different things for different people to see, what they like. And so, yeah, I totally think it goes into that, because then you have your outcome. Was it good? Was it bad? Let's try it different next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing you both talk about sort of those hidden superhero talents, right? Makes you think of like the concept of flow, like when you're athlete so in the zone that you sort of lose track of time. You're so immersed in it, and again, you're just I don't know, you're just in it, and it's just it's very exciting.
Very strength based too.
Yeah.
I like how you guys both took something that are or just maybe either hobbies or could be seen as like how you mentioned like a sensitivity, but is now like a new layer of empathy for other individuals, and how I just love that.
I think
awesome.
I think that's how we're taught as music therapists too,
right?
To look for the strengths and then need areas as well, but strengths.
Well, I think that leads us into our next question. So, what does the world need to know about music therapists? Like, why? I know the benefits of music therapy. What does the world need to know?
What, you start? You've been working in this profession.
I think I would give my definition of music therapy to answer that, which for me, it's to promote and provide like support and healing to people through the medium that is music, because we want to provide like quality of life is the number one. So that's why music therapists work with so many different kinds of people. So I think that's important, to think of the quality of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want quality of life, right? What about the brain? Like, tell me, kind of singing, working with people and maybe experience a stroke, or like, let's give them, again, some of our listeners who might have never heard of music therapy or or worked with a music therapist. So, how does lyric analysis or songwriting kind of help in their journey to have the highest possible quality of life?
Yeah, it's cool. You kind of touched upon several different interventions that we can do, because the scope of music therapy is so wide and there's so many different benefits. I think back to my first introduction to music therapy, which was actually when I was a music education student, and I was kind of like, "What's this?" And I remember getting to observe a music therapist, and they were working with someone who could not speak, and so providing them. They were singing a song, and the client was able to like touch a button and finish the phrase of the song, and just to see the joy light up her face, somebody who was unable at the time to communicate and like was able to finish the song with the therapist, to sing, to interact. I think, like you were saying, quality of life. Music helps prime the brain for some of these different things that can help them to eventually things like melodic intonation therapy can eventually help people to regain the ability to speak after a stroke. I don't know, you can talk about some more.
Yeah, so music, if you look at like a scan of the brain, music is lighting up so many areas compared to when you just look at speech. Hence why music can help rehabilitate speech sometimes when no other measures are doing the trick, because you're taking all these different connections and how strong that is. So like Scott mentioned, one of the neurologic music therapy techniques, which is MIT, melodic intonation therapy, which uses the melody of music to influence the melody and intonation of speech. So we're musical beings by nature. So how, I guess as music therapists, we're thinking, how can we use music, which is so innate to us, to change or to influence or to improve? So it could be improving speech, improving communication and socialization and connection.
I also think thinking about speech too, but also like physical goals and like working with speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists to co-treat with them, for, like physical goals, helping them to regain their gait training and
Sure.
doing that with the beat and their rhythm. And so you've got two people working two different modalities to help somebody achieve the same goal, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I think, we talk in classes all the time about interprofessional education,
Yes.
but here it's, again, reality. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Kids Rock Cancer.
Mm.
Could you explain that a little bit to like our listeners, what that looks like? And
Yeah, I think you might be a little more.
Yeah, so Kids Rock Cancer is a specific program at the hospital, and the therapists go in and they're only doing one type of music therapy intervention of all the interventions that we can use and implement. And that intervention is therapeutic songwriting. So some days it can look like processing these intense things these children have gone through. It can look like sharing about things they miss, like going to DQ and getting a dilly bar. So, but for them, there's an outlet there, and it's an expressive outlet for them.
I think it's important, correct me if I'm wrong, with Kids Rock Cancer too, that sometimes family members become involved. And like it can also be an outlet for, mom and dad, brother, sister. They're also going through something too. It's not just, unfortunately, the kid who's in the hospital. It's also the whole family unit. So the therapeutic songwriting can really, be effective for all of them.
Not only is it expression and like processing, but it's sharing what they're going through, and there's something powerful in sharing your story.
I just think that's, the systemic approach. Obviously, if something impacts, the child's going to impact the whole family or the parent and the children. And so again, just making sure everybody is quality of life, holistic approach. So.
Yeah. So I would love to hear a little bit about your experiences just for the different places that you worked, different agencies that you've worked for. What were highlights of those experiences?
I'll go first because I think I have a shorter list to go through. I'm still doing my practicum work. So I'm on my third practicum right now. And all of my practicum placements, I've been with such wonderful supervisors. And I feel like I can't stress the importance of like getting to learn from somebody else who's doing it is like beyond helpful. And it is knowing that you're going to be going in there and doing the work. And we're doing music therapy. We're not doing brain surgery. So like nothing's going to be catastrophic, assumedly. But, knowing that you've got somebody to fall back on, if it's like, this isn't working, and you've got support there, and they're not just going to throw you out without a life preserver. So like, it's been really great to get to learn from some of the people, the local people who are working in music therapy.
Yeah. My first supervisor, she felt it was an ethical obligation to sort of give back to the next generation. And that stuck with me, because it is extra time and sort of, I don't know, effort, but to meet and work and, like you said, sort of be there. So yeah, shout out to all the site supervisors out there. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
My primary experience and the bulk of my work has been in hospice care. So I've completed my internship in hospice care. I went down to Tallahassee, Florida at the hospice down there, and I've come back and been doing hospice work since. Hospice is one of these things that I think people are kind of afraid of or weary of, or they might have some association with the word. But like I said, the quality of life, when I go into a hospice session, I meet the person and I see where they're at and I see what can I do to make them feel better. Is it physical? Can I use music to decrease their anxiety, decrease their respiration rate, and help them breathe a little easier? Can I use it to help them relax and provide emotional and support? Are they isolated interpersonally or intrapersonally, where my presence can provide them with a social outlet? So I think that it's my most meaningful experience has been working in hospice, because it's working with people, and like what your supervisor said to you, like, I feel like I'm giving to them, these people who've given their whole life, and now I can help bring them some peace and comfort at the end of their life.
Yeah, when you're counseling or doing, therapy with somebody, it's such an intimate thing. I mean, they're just sharing those, all those intimate moments, and then add on end of life, just that sort of, again, that I hear it in your voice, that privilege to sort of be there with them to sort of, again, celebrate or increase the quality of life at that time.
Yeah, I really appreciate the emphasis on meeting the clients where they are. I don't have a lot of stories that are applicable that I can share, but I was able to complete my practicum at the St. Louis University Cancer Center, and so I was able to work with some music therapists there. And there was one time we were going to visit a patient, and they had just completed their treatment. They had finished their treatment, and so what I assumed, we would go in, and it would be more of a celebratory experience. And I assumed that that's what we would go into it with. But walking, the music therapist was very much like, okay, well, let's just see where they're at. Let's meet them where they're at first before we just assume it's going to be celebratory. And it was a good thing that we did that, because we walked in and we knew that, well, now there was a different kind of struggle for that patient, because now they were going to have to return to home and things like that. And so very much like how you explained, of meeting them where they're at and providing those clients and those individuals with what they need at the moment. I think that's huge, and I really appreciate that. So
yeah, I think that reminds me specifically of working with persons who are living with dementia of any kind. So if that person is not oriented to this time, of course, I want them to be oriented as much as they can, but meeting them wherever they're at, using the music to match that and to promote the positive memories for them.
Sure.
Well, is there something that you're doing right now that you're want to give a shout out to, something that you're learning, or something that you're at a work site or a practicum that you want the rest of the world to sort of know?
I'm excited that I will be doing my internship at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital with Karen McKee. Super excited to start. Really looking forward to working in pediatrics.
Awesome.
I think I'd like to shout out to Dr. Beer and Dr. Kwan. They've just done so well at providing the correct verbiage and really recent studies to continue to educate us on the most useful and what's that? Is it evidence-based?
Yes, evidence-based practice. Yes, the good stuff.
Or empirically, yes, Okay.
So, Dr. Beer is the program director here at Maryville Music Therapy, and Dr. Kwan is a full professor and the second full-time member of the staff here. So,
yeah. All right. So, I want to give you guys the space, hand over the mic per se, and just open up the floor to hear your guys' advice, your mentor moment for our listeners.
Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. My advice, which has proven true based on my own observation, is to continue to form connection, and each interaction you have with professors and colleagues and other students will have a benefit. If anything, it's teaching you how to interact with people that are different than you.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
I received some wonderful advice my last year of undergrad. We had a brand new dance teacher for our last semester, and I was going out into the workforce and terrified. And she sat me down and she told me, you need to define success for yourself. So many people, you're going to put on yourself all these expectations that other people might have for you, and people will have expectations for you, but they don't matter, because it matters what you want to do. So you need to define that success for yourself, and whatever that means to you, then you're successful. So don't let other people's, don't let them put that on you. Take it for yourself and be where you are and know that you're on the right course.
I love that. And the better we get at applying it to ourselves, the easier it will be to applying it to our clients. And what are their goals? What is important to you,
Yeah. And I mean, when I decided to make my career change, I was like, wow, so many people are going to be disappointed in me. who cares?
Mhm.
I wasn't happy, so like I was doing what was best for me, and nobody probably even cared. So
Yeah.
I was definitely putting that on myself. So just give yourself some grace. Do what makes you happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's about to be clear. We got to have
Yes.
that in the background.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll put that in there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this was great.
This was
yeah.
So, Amanda, Scott, it was our pleasure. Thank you for being on Mentor Moments, and we look forward to hearing your future success.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So if you're listening to this, that means that you're listening to Mentor Moments. That means that you're probably listening on either Spotify or Apple Music, or maybe you're listening some other way. We just want to recommend that you continue to listen. Tune into some of our previous episodes and stay tuned. Subscribe to us because we'll have plenty more episodes coming your way as well.
In addition to the podcast, we have 2 other ways for you to stay connected with the Missouri Rehabilitation Association Eastern Chapter and Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Program. We are proud to announce the creation of a YouTube channel and a blog. Both the blog and the YouTube channel will have all things related to the Missouri Rehab Association Eastern Chapter and Maryville University's Rehabilitation Counseling Program. Check us out.